Hamilton is a fantastic place, and so it's really been great working with those people.
Good. You are originally from Hamilton, in fact. You grew up in Ancaster. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm a mountain kid. So actually, I initially grew up at Rymel Road and Upper James, which was kind of, at the time, out in the boonies. There wasn't a whole lot out there. It's certainly a lot different now.
Yeah.
And when I started high school in grade 9, moved into Ancaster and went to Sir Allan MacNab High School. And I guess it was sort of around that high school time that I started to get very interested in civic issues, and I started to get, I guess, involved in community organizations. I did a lot of volunteer work for groups that are still around today, thankfully. Bay Area Restoration Council I worked with quite a bit, and
no kidding.
The Hamilton Naturalist Club, and I did a lot of work for the Bruce Trail Association. So, you know, really started to enjoy getting involved in my community, and I actually remember sort of one of my first experiences in, I guess you call it political action, when I was in high school, and I can't remember what the issue was now, but I had written a letter to my local councillor, and I sent it off, not really thinking much of it, and was shocked when about 2 days later I got a phone call from the councillor, Ann Sloat. I'm sure some of your viewers will remember her.
Probably.
A very tough politician.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. I was what was I, maybe 16, 17 years old, and I had sent off a letter that I'm sure was very, very self-righteous and opinionated and all the rest of it. But the councillor called me back, took the time to talk to me, and of course I got very nervous, and was instantly backing off all of my positions and agreeing with just whatever she had to say within the first 30 seconds of the phone call. But that, to me, that sort of a politician would take the time to sort of to just have that conversation with a kid. Really sort of got me interested in civic issues and being involved in your community, and knowing that, you know, even a 16-year-old kid can sort of be involved and make a bit of a difference.
I was going to ask, that's what kind of made this stuff tangible to you then.
Yeah. Like actually getting directly involved and seeing how, you know, your actions, however small or big they may be, could actually make a bit of a difference.
So how did you go from that phone call to going to deciding that you would become a planner, to actually go into this field professionally, not on the political side, but actually on the staff side?
It was a bit of a journey. I didn't sort of immediately set out to be a planner. I didn't go to planning school, actually. I was involved in a lot of environmental issues and community issues, and that's really kind of how I came into planning. I worked with a number of different community organizations, and really just found that the issues that sort of got me excited and got me interested were all somehow linked back to planning. And I kind of discovered planning that way by the work I was doing. And so yeah, I just kind of came to it through work experience and through the issues that I was interested in, and then ultimately became a planner.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So what was your training then as you got into that field? Because I know then you eventually ended up in Toronto and all over the world. How did you start building your career in there?
I guess well, my first sort of professional foray into planning was when I joined the province. That was in 2003, I guess it was.
Okay.
And that was sort of my first professional planning job. I worked on the Places to Grow initiative, which was an initiative of the then newly elected Liberal government to create a growth plan for the entire Greater Golden Horseshoe region, which of course include Hamilton. Yeah. And also getting involved in planning for the Greenbelt and looking at sort of that broad regional scale of how the region wants to develop and where the regional transportation infrastructure should go. And that was kind of my first really diving into sort of technical planning work, and I loved it, and I did that for several years. Got to work with a lot of municipalities through that work, including Hamilton, yeah, from there I've been pretty exclusively focused on doing planning work.
Now I'm noticing a theme, because you were involved with the naturalists, and you were the Bruce Trail, and then you worked with the Greenbelt and stuff. I'm noticing an environmental theme. Is that a real passion of yours?
It is, and like I said, it's kind of how I initially came to planning and came to sort of what initially got me interested in how cities grow and evolve. Certainly my interests have expanded a lot since then. I've started to realize just how many facets of how we live and work and play are all touched by planning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I certainly came to it through an interest in environmental issues and still a passion of mine today.
Yeah, and then you ended up working in Toronto. Tell us about your professional career then as you went into the private sector.
So I worked, as I said, I worked for the province on the Places to Grow initiative.